Welcome back. So this is the final break session for this first cipher of the day. We do two ciphers. So let me get into the mathematics. So two ciphers, each one is 3 hours, so 180 minutes. And then, so two of them makes 360, which completes the cipher. It's a hip hop thing. So it's pretty cool. So 3 hours later today, another one of these will be happening. So cool. Right. So the new video from the past break session is up. So it's working. It's just that, again, I got a black thumbnail. So I'm not sure if it's something that I'm gonna have to look into that more. So that's something I need to investigate. And at the same time, add text on it. So if it does turn up to be a black thumbnail, at least it has some sort of design to it or something. So, well, we'll see. So, all right. So again, this this break session, I kind of want to go over this new thing that I came across called Aurora. And it's in collaboration between Google Chrome and some different frameworks and tools. Seems pretty cool. So I wanted to talk about it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see here. I've got it. Hold on. I think, oh, that's right. It's in the here. Cool. I think, let me see. All right. I've been pretty productive. Like I'm getting all the post radio show stuff done. Normally it takes me a lot longer, but I think by seeing this countdown and know I have to be live soon, I'm like, yo, I need to get this thing done. So yeah, so I'm almost done with it. I'm sending off emails to the different radio promoters and people that signed up for the newsletter to get, the list of what we played to get notified. All right, cool. So let me get this here. All righty. So I hope everyone is doing well. Hopefully you're being productive and getting stuff that you've been wanting to get done. Hopefully you're making a dent into it and what have you. All right. Cool. All right. Share the screen. All righty. Cool. This one here. All right. Now, hopefully you'll be able to see it. And so the project, so now, first of all, web.dev. I am not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a pretty cool website that has all like different aspects of things happening in the web, like currently. And so all the different like capabilities and the stuff that's coming up. And so it's a pretty cool website. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, web.dev. And it's through Google. So, they got the good domain name. So web.dev. And there, I think it was a tweet I saw or something, but I came across about introducing Aurora. And so it's a collaboration between the Chrome team, Chrome dev team, and open source frameworks and tools, the developers of those. And it's pretty cool. So kind of want to quickly go over it. And, if you have any feedback or what you think about it, please let me know as well. So there's also, we have the chat room, just making sure, we have the chat room. So feel free to get your chat on. And then if you have any questions, you can also leave them in the questions area as well. So, all right. So Aurora, like I said, is a collaboration between the Chrome team at Google and different open source web frameworks and tools that you may know of if you're into developing for the web. So for almost like 2 years, they've been working with some of the most popular frameworks like Next.js, Nuxt, and Angular, which makes sense because Google made Angular. So if you're not familiar, Next.js is like a framework built on top of React. So you get things like server-side rendering. So it helps out with SEO. You can actually do certain optimizations and things. So it's pretty cool. So if you're familiar with React, this is a framework built on top of React to kind of give you more powers and capabilities. So that's Next. Now, Nuxt, Nuxt, is similar to Next, but for Vue instead of React. So it pretty much does the same thing, except you're building your components out using Vue. So if you're familiar with Vue, so you have a choice. So if you like using Vue, you can use Next to do that stuff. Or if you like using React, then you can use Next. I like using, like this whole site has been built using Svelte. To me, it just makes more sense. So whatever works for you and kind of like whatever, when you create it, it makes sense to you. That's what I would go with. So for me, it's Svelte on my own projects. And so Svelte had a thing called Sapper, which I really enjoyed. But now they have Svelte Kit, which is going to do the same stuff as Sapper. So, but that's in like beta now or alpha. I'm not even sure. But until that's released, I'm going to continue using Sapper because I enjoy it. So neither here nor there. Cool. So back to Aurora. So yeah, so they worked with, like I said, Next.js, Nuxt, Angular, and different tooling. So those are the frameworks, different tooling such as Vue itself, ESLint, and Webpack. So now they're kind of showing the results of what they've been working on. So in the article, it says that, quote, "We believe that frameworks can also play a big role in helping developers with key quality aspects such as web performance, accessibility, security, mobile readiness. Instead of asking every developer and site owner to become an expert in these areas and keep up with the constantly changing best practices, the framework can support these with baked-in solutions. This empowers developers and enables them to focus on building product features." So what they're saying is that the web changes a lot. And so if people working on the web can work with some of the leading frameworks, then maybe they can standardize the stuff in the frameworks that the web is using. So it's always up to date so that developers using the frameworks don't have to worry about that underlying web technologies that are changing. It's kind of like using libraries and SDKs. So at Vonage, I'm the JavaScript developer advocate for the Conversation API and the client SDK. And with the API and the SDK, you don't have to worry about making calls to the back end and keeping up with all that stuff. We handle all those things in the APIs and SDKs. So it's almost giving you like an abstraction so that, hey, use these things. These are going to change. We may add some new things, but you don't have to worry about all the stuff happening behind the scenes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so if you're using the frameworks, it's good to know that they'll always be kind of kept up to date and then they're working with the people, at least from Chrome, to make sure everything is working properly. So that's pretty cool. So now they named it an Aurora because an aurora is a natural light display that shimmers in the sky. Quote, "As we are trying to help user experiences built with frameworks shimmer and shine, we thought this name was an appropriate choice." So again, they're trying to make it easier for developers just to build the features of the applications that they want to make, not have to worry about like all the minutia, I guess they call it, of all the things that are happening behind the scenes. We just want you working on the features of your applications. So yeah, so give you that foundation that you know you can build upon. So that's pretty cool. So they're saying that this is a collaboration between a small team of Chrome engineers. Internally, they're named Web SDK and the different framework and tool authors. They said their goal is to deliver the best user experience possible for production apps, regardless of the browser you're rendering in. So regardless of the browser you're using. So they're just trying to make the web better for everyone. So they're saying at Google, quote, "At Google, we've learned a lot while using frameworks and tools to build and maintain large-scale web applications, such as Google Search, Maps, Image Search, Google Photos, etc. We discovered how frameworks can play a crucial role in predictable app quality by providing strong defaults and opinionated tooling." So pretty much like letting the framework and tools do what they do and trusting that they're going to have like the best practices already built in. So you don't have to worry about that. So now they're saying that they went with React first to kind of like work on things because the adoption is the largest with React within the core UI framework ecosystem. So they're saying React is basically the big kid on the block. So they're working with them. So most of their optimizations have begun with React and Next.js. So they're testing things with that first, since it seems to be the most people are using that. So they want to try and reach as many people as possible. So they're going to work with the biggest framework and core UI library. So yeah, and then they're going to expand it to the rest of everyone else. And so now they have this table here that kind of talks about their flow of getting different things worked out. So partner-driven process for improving CWV metrics. And CWV is Core Web Vitals. So the metrics for that. And so they have an actual nice little list to summarize everything. So we'll look at that. And so these are the different steps that they're going to take. So 12 steps. Step 1 is identify user experience pain in a popular stack using representative apps. So they're going to see like what is causing problems for developers and users with the most popular stack. Because again, they want to try and reach as many people as possible. So that's why they want to React. They're going to prototype solutions that address those pain points, and with an emphasis on strong defaults. So things that are going to always kind of be there at the beginning when you start a new application. So then they're going to verify the feature with another framework stack to ensure it's adaptable. So they're going to take, let's say, for example, the things they worked on in Next and React and see if it works with Vue and Nuxt. They're going to validate the feature by experimenting in a few production apps, typically with lab testing for performance. So they're going to dog food their own stuff with own production apps. Then 5, they're going to drive design using the RFC process. So kind of going through, it's a way on the web to kind of like, I forgot, it's like request feature something, I think. And where it's a way, like a methodology of being able to introduce new things. So it's kind of like, here's like a beta thing. We need the feedback, and then we'll kind of work on with that, like a loop. Cool. Then going to land the feature in a popular stack, typically behind a flag. So there's like, hey, here's this beta thing that we've been thinking about. Check it out. You may have to like enable a flag to make it work. But hey, if you want to check it out early, this is what you can do. And then they're going to enable the feature in a representative production app to access quality and developer workflow integration. So they're going to actually make it into a production app that everybody can use. They're going to measure the performance improvement by tracking metrics in representative production apps that adopted the feature or upgraded. So if somebody is using it in their production app, they're going to get feedback from them through metrics and things. And then they're going to enable the feature as a default in the stack. So like in Next or in Nuxt or what have you. And then so all upgrading users can benefit from it. I'm going to go over a little bit, but hopefully that's cool. And then once it's proven, work with additional frameworks to land the feature. So work with other people, maybe Svelte or any other different frameworks to make sure it works. Then identify identify gaps in the web platform with feedback loops. So let people use it and then improve on it depending on the feedback from folks, and then move on to the next set of problems. Cool. So now they have this thing called the Chrome Framework Fund, which so far they use to support Webpack 5, Nuxt, and performance and improvements to ESLint. So that's pretty cool. So they have that. So that's information there. And then look at some of the things that they've done thus far. So now if you use Next, there's a new image component. And if you use Nuxt, there's also something corresponding with that. So that image component can now be used to like, it makes it so that you use that one image and then it behind the scenes does all the improvements and things. So like, I think it does like the conversions and stuff, but they're saying that the components have resulted in significant improvements to paint times and layout shift. You know, sometimes when you go to a website and the text moves because it's just loading in the images. So I believe like the image components will put like a temporary placeholder image so that the shifting of the text is less. So they're saying like 57% reduction in largest contentful paint and 100% reduction in cumulative layout shift. So I guess it's putting like those like with that component, you're just putting a like a placeholder image until it loads in. So that's pretty cool. Then they're also they have this thing where you're inlining CSS. So instead of having to make a call to the server again for the CSS, because sometimes you'll see, even on my website, like if I'm using a certain font, it'll show whatever is available at the time in the browser. And then when it makes the call for that font, then the font will change. So now they're inlining everything so that when it's served up, it's already there. So you don't have to make that call again, basically. So that's what they're doing there with critters. So for Angular and Next.js, they have that. It reduces the paint times. So that's cool. 20 to 30 point improvement in the Lighthouse performance scores. That's pretty cool. And then they also, with the out-of-the-box ESLint support for Next.js, includes a custom plugin and shareable configuration to make it easier to catch common framework-specific issues at build time. So like I said, they're starting with Next, seeing what works, and then going to expand that to other frameworks. So ESLint will be able to catch common things that can happen in the different frameworks, and during build time, let you know about it. That's pretty cool. And then also in Next.js and Gatsby, they have like granular chunking. So it's basically taking your, if you have like a lot of JavaScript or a huge file, taking it and like chunking it or breaking it into different parts and only shipping it as you need it, pretty much, which is pretty cool. So it loads faster. And so, so they shipped granular chunking in Next.js and Gatsby. And so check this out, resulting in 30 to 70% reduction in bundle sizes. So like your code, anywhere from 30 to 70% smaller, while improving cache performance. Nice. So that has become the default in Webpack 5. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and then same thing, a separate polyfill chunk for older browsers. So depending on whatever your user is using as a browser, if it's an older browser, they'll ship along polyfills so that the stuff you're using in your application works. But if they're using a modern one, there's no need to ship that polyfill, so it saves on space and loads quicker. And so that's pretty cool. And so what they're looking to plan for the rest of 2021, so they want to make the stuff like best practices. So they want to make it a best practice. And so they have that blog post you can check out for more optimization with that whole CSS inlining stuff. So they're building on collaborations to optimize the images, fonts, and the CSS that your application needs to load properly. And then loading third-party scripts with minimal performance impact. But yeah, so pretty cool. What else? And then JavaScript performance at a scale. So supporting React server components, which is a new thing happening with React in Next.js. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool that browsers are working with the frameworks that the browsers are loading, the stuff that we build as far as applications. So it's cool to see a collaboration between that. And then not just that, because I don't want anything to be siloed, but they're going to take their findings and stuff and actually make that available to the whole web as a general. So different frameworks and builders of tools can actually use it as well, some of this optimization. So yeah, I think hopefully, my thing is, as long as it's being opened to everyone so that they can actually use it themselves, I think that's pretty cool. And just going to help push the web even further and make it better for everyone. So I'm a big fan of that. And so cool. So shouts to the whole team at everyone involved. So the Aurora team is listed right there. And then all the folks that they're working with and all the different tool and framework creators. Thank you all for all the effort. And so looking forward to what's coming in the web. And yeah, so I'm going to stop yammering. I'm 5 minutes over already. So we're going to be out of here. So once again, thank you for checking this out. Hopefully you've been productive. This is the final work session for this cipher. Again, we'll be back in like 3 hours. And so you can join that as well if you're up to it. You can in the notify section, you can actually like subscribe to a notification because I send out notifications. So you'll be reminded when we're live. And yeah, so hopefully you all had a great time, like I did. Got a lot of stuff done. Feeling pretty good about it. And yeah, so we're going to be out of here. Let me get that slideshow worked out. Cool. Let's go with this one. So again, thank you for hanging out, and hit me up if you need anything. Again, it's lifelong dev on Twitter. And yeah, thanks again. I'm out of here. Maybe see you later. Cool. So again, thanks everyone. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Cool. Back to work. All right. Thanks again. I'll add some extra time so that it will, like 10 minutes extra or what have you. So thank you again. We're out of here. Yeah. Thanks.
I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I'm feeling like yeah. And everybody says yeah. We spread love like yeah. I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you